that's up here. So I have a to the 5th plus 3a to the 4th minus 4a cubed. Remember, on all of these, you should be looking for a GCF before you do anything. Is there a GCF here?
Yes. 3 cubed. Or a cubed.
A cubed. So I can divide all of these by a cubed. Does that GCF disappear? No. It goes to the front. So I will have a cubed out front, and what will that leave me with? A squared 3a minus 4. So now you need to try to factor the trinomial that you're left with. So a squared will factor into a and a. You have a negative c value, so that means you're going to have opposite signs. So you can't forget things like that. So you will have opposite signs, factors of 4, so it can either be 4 and 1 or 2 and 2, and it needs to oi to 3. What is the combination I'm looking for?
Positive 4, negative 1.
Positive 4, negative 1. That will oi. This will give me 4a, and that will give me negative 1a. That will oi to 3a. Questions on that first trinomial? Okay. Okay, what is your very first thought when you see this problem?
4.
There are 4 terms, so I need to group it. Group into 2 terms. 2 terms and 2 terms. What do I divide out of my first set of 2? 3a squared, 3a squared. What is that going to leave me with? A plus 2. What can I divide out of my next set of terms? Negative 2 leaves me with a plus 2. Then, yes?
6a squared over 3a squared.
My a squareds will cancel.
And it would be 3. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's okay. What's more?
And then a squared, or a plus 2 and a plus 2, this parenthesis should be the same if you grouped it correctly. So this a plus 2, I can divide out. That's going to go out front, and I will have 3a squared minus 2. Does not matter what order those parentheses are in, though. Like if you tend to have that 3a squared minus 2 first, and then the a plus 2, doesn't matter. As long as you have the same parentheses there, doesn't matter what order your parentheses are in. Questions on grouping? You guys seem pretty solid with grouping. Dividing by 6 divided by 3, maybe not that, but...
When you don't remember what you're doing.
Okay, this is a trinomial, so guess and check. M squared is just going to become m and m. This is a negative c value, so I know I have opposite signs. So I need factors of negative 24 that will oi to negative 10.
Negative 6 and negative 4.
It has to be, okay, so let me talk about that. So Tyler said negative 6 and negative 4, which would oi to negative 10, but what's wrong with negative 6 and negative 4? They have to be opposite signs, so that's why it's important to understand like that part of it. So Sam said negative 12 and positive 2. So you can't forget that c value has to be the correct signs for your c value. We have another trinomial. What do you think? Should I do 3 and 2 or 6 and 1? I'm going to do 3 and 2. So I will have 3x and 2x, and again I have a negative c value, so I have opposite signs. The only factor of 1 would be 1 and 1, so is there a way that I can place that factor with opposite signs to make it oi to my middle term, which is 1? Minus 1 plus 1, right? So that I have 3x and negative 2x. That's going to oi to 1. Good. Another trinomial. Now, don't get too rushed on your quiz and forget to keep those eyes looking for GCFs, because there's a GCF here. What can I divide out? 2. A 2. And if I divide my trinomial by 2, I would be left with 2x squared minus x minus 15. There are 10 questions on the quiz. And then I'm going to factor what's left. So 2x and x, and again, negative c value, opposite signs. It's negative 15. So it's not just about like what factors of negative 15 will add to negative 1, because you're not going to find that. It's the combination of that and the 2x and x. So how am I going to place it? So if I place, I like the 5 here and the 3 here. That's going to give me 6x and 5x. But I want it to oi to negative 1. So I want positive 5, negative 3. Exactly. Yeah, that's going to give me negative 6x. Okay, final answer. Notice my GCF doesn't disappear. It's still out front. 4 terms. Group. My first 2 terms, what can I divide out of 5m and mn? An m. So if I divide an m out, that would leave me with 5 plus n. What can I divide out of 20 and 4? Divide them each by 4. That's going to leave me with 5 plus n. What a shocker. I'm left with the same parenthesis twice. So I can divide this parenthesis out. It's going to leave me with 5 plus n, and it would leave me with, what's my other factor? M plus 4. Two terms. Anytime I see 2 terms, my first thought in my mind is it a difference of 2 perfect squares? Is it a difference of 2 perfect squares? Yeah. And if it is a difference, which by the way has to be a difference, meaning subtraction, then it factors into what? What does it factor into if it is a difference of 2 perfect squares? 4x, yeah, wait, why did I do that? 2x, thank you. 2x and 2x minus 5 plus 5. So the sum and the difference of their square roots. The square root of 4x squared is 2x. The square root of 25 is 5. The sum and difference of their square roots. I see 2 terms. Again, I'm looking for perfect squares, but this time I don't see perfect squares. I have a GCF. I can take out 3, and that would give me x squared minus 9. Now do I see perfect squares? Yeah. So what does this factor into? What is this going to factor into? 3x minus 3. What did you say, Clayton? X plus 3, but you didn't put the GCF in again, did you? Oh, okay, I thought maybe you did. You said it, but you didn't mean it? Okay, good. I wanted to make sure you didn't mean it. Yeah, the GCF's only in there once. Whoa, what a doozy. Okay, so here, definitely a GCF. A lot of GCF going on there. So, I see a variable GCF. What can I take out for my variable? P squared. So remember, for my variable, I can take out the least variable, meaning whatever the smallest exponent value is. So I have P squared, and then 18, 63, and 27 are all divisible by 9. So I will divide each of these terms by, 9 P squared. That 9p squared, it's not going to disappear. It's going to go out front. That's my GCF. And that's going to leave me with 2p squared plus 7p plus 3. Then I need to factor what's left. Yep, 2p squared becomes 2p and p. Positive c value, finally. So that means I have the same sign. How do I know what my signs are? The middle value, yeah. So it doesn't mean they're positive. It means they'll match whatever my middle term is. So in this case, they'll both be positive. And I need to place factors of 3 so that it'll OI to 7. So 1, 3. This will give me 6p, and that will give me 1p, OIs to 7p. Slide. This one actually does not have a GCF. I'm just going to kind of help you through this one. This is one of the special cases. You may notice that 16 and 49 are both perfect squares. 16a squared, I'm going to break apart into 4a and 4a. I have a positive c value. So what will that mean about my signs for this particular problem? They'll be the same and they'll be positive because my middle term's positive. What do you think I'll use for my factors of 49? 7. This is a perfect square trinomial, right? So instead of leaving it as 4a plus 7 times 4a plus 7, I should write it as 4a plus 7 squared, 1 parenthesis squared. Okay? Okay, we gotta get started so you have time.